quite the wild curtains behind me. These are the curtains I live with right now. Welcome to day 3 of Advent 2022, and I told that you would be getting the pattern for the candy cane hat. Still have to close the end, haven't done that yet, so I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. I'm also going to show you how to do a provisional cast on, and we're going to get started on the hat. So you will be getting the pattern. If you want to knit along, you need 1 skein worsted weight in red, 1 skein worsted weight in white, and honestly you probably need more like a half a skein, but I'm calling it 1 skein each. You probably will have enough for 2 hats. We are going to do a provisional cast on for 90 stitches. Now 90 stitches gets you a nice flap here on the back. So see how long that is? If you want your hat to be shorter and not quite go down as far, reduce that amount. It doesn't matter how much you cast on as long as you get past the top of your head, correct? So anywhere from whatever length, however long you want your hat to be from head to crown. Okay? I like these long ones. So I'm casting on 90 stitches with a provisional cast on, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. All right, we have 2 pieces of yarn here. I have a waste yarn, which is brown. I have white, which is our hat yarn. And I'm going to do something a little unusual, but I'm going to put a slip knot. I start my provisional cast on with a slip knot. I'm doing a double slip knot right here so that you see this. This will get pulled off. Then I do my provisional cast on. So put my fingers in between the 2 yarns. The waste yarn goes around my thumb. The permanent yarn goes around my index finger. I then slide my needle up under the waste yarn, around the permanent yarn, and off, firming that up. So the white, my permanent yarn, or my white yarn in this case, stays around my needle, and the waste yarn ends up being the cast on chain that is at the bottom of my work. And I'm going to put a few on here. So long tail, it's the standard long tail cast on. You've just divided it into 2 separate yarns. There. And so see, you can see your finished product. You'll have a little loop along the edge and your permanent yarn at the top. Now, this is super easy to get on the needle. Super nice and slick for a provisional cast on. Doesn't take much forethought. Definitely easier for the cast on part than doing a crochet chain and or the fiddly stuff that some of the other websites present for a provisional cast on. There is, however, payment. When I release these stitches at the end, I'm going to have to take a darning needle and pull out each stitch. This just won't unzip like a chain stitch will. So there is a price to be paid for this technique. So, cast on 90 stitches, which I may have to go get some more provisional here. 90 stitches is what I need. And through the magic of television, I'm going to finish this off camera, and we'll carry on to the next part of the instructions. Alrighty. We have 90 stitches cast on to this using the technique. And FYI, I went and cut a short piece, and I shouldn't have. I should have just left both balls attached. So you can attach your white ball or your permanent yarn. You can attach your scrap bar as your scrap yarn, and then break it off at the end, because we're now going to commence knitting. Now, the way that you knit this hat is as a parallelogram, a flat parallelogram. On the right side when we're knitting, we're going to increase by 1 and then decrease by the other one by 1 stitch at the end. So, let's see, there we go. I'm back. So I'm just going to start knitting as if this weren't at the bottom. And I am not a slip stitch person. I just knit into my first stitch. I'm not that kind. So I knit, make 1. Now on this first row, I'm not going to drop into the stitch below. You can knit front back. You can do a yarn over. It's up to you. I'm going to knit front back on this first row. But then in all the rows after this, I will make one left for my increased stitch, and then make one left for my increased stitch, and then knit 2 together at the end of the row, because our goal is to make a parallelogram. This hat is created, you get the diagonal by creating the parallelogram and then Kitchenering stitch a spiral to form your tube. You need to knit the number of rows that equal the circumference of your head. And that was a hard lesson for me, because the one thing that happens as I knit a hat is I get excited to finish and I start doing my decreases too soon. The same thing happens with this hat if you're not careful. Stick it out and keep going. You need to go more. You need to knit more rows than you think. I almost forgot to show you that when you come to the end of your first row, you've done your provisional cast on, and you knit back with your first increase at one end and your decrease at the under end. Do not forget that there was an initial slip stitch with both yarns on your needle. When you get to that last stitch that contains both yarns, take it off your needle and just release it, pull it through. Now you have your first row. Okay, you've got me in bed again, because I took off and had some leisure time down shopping and dinner. But I wanted to let you know that now you've done your first row. For the rest of this project, it is knit 1, increase 1, which after the first row I use make one left, but you can use whatever increase you like. Knit across to 3 stitches before the end of the row, knit 2 together, knit 1, turn. And then you change your stripes. So you can do any stripe configuration you want. In the info below, I'm going to include I'm going to include a link to the pattern, the full pattern, so that you can go download it. It may not show up right away. It might come later because I got some back paperwork to do. But it will show you the specific it will show you the specific candy cane stripes that I did on the red and white hat. Now I'm in the process of making green ones so that you will have photos of red and green stripy candy cane hats. That's it from me today. It's going to be a quickie. You may have heard the dog in the background during this entire video. He was feeling quite strongly about going for a walk. So he was driving me insane during the whole filming of this video. You've probably heard barks. I cut out a whole bunch of him pushing a button saying go, go, go. So we finally gave up and took him for a walk, and then I didn't get back to this till now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you aren't following us, please do. If you haven't rung the bell yet, please do, because then you'll know when the next video goes up. I'll see you tomorrow, probably about the same time. Don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. Maybe we'll cook, or maybe I'll clean house, or maybe I'll do a different craft. I don't know. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.